Hey guys, so today I will show you how I start my brassica seeds. Brassicas are your cauliflowers, like this beautiful, the purple cauliflower I grew last year, or your cabbages, your kales, your collard greens, your Brussels sprouts, your Napa cabbages. All of those vegetables, beautiful vegetables, are brassicas, all of them. They all come from the same family. Okay, so that's what I'm starting today. So I'm reusing my trays that I use to start my peppers. Usually I keep my trays for about 3 to 4 years. I try my best to take very good care of them because after buying the Dollar General trays and the Walmart trays, the big 72 cell trays, they usually only last one season and then they get all wonky and broken, they leak and everything. But these, they're pretty sturdy and they last a long time. So I'll link them down below for you guys. For my seed starter, I use coco coir and perlite. But if you can't get coco coir or you don't want to get that, you can definitely use seed starter mix. There's a pretty cheap bag sold at Dollar General for like $4. But when you do get it, I really recommend adding, when you open it, add hot water in there to moisten it. You want your seed starter mix to be pre-moistened before you start any seeds. You don't want to put seeds in dry soil and then try to moisten it because it's just not going to work out right. So pre-moisten your soil, mix it up, and then fill your trays. Another thing is I do not press down a lot of soil into my trays. I fill them up, and I like the soil to be pretty loose so that the roots can really, work their way down and around and get to the bottom of the tray and be able to absorb as much of the nutrient water as they can. Okay, so once I have my trays filled, I'll give them a couple of taps just to kind of get the soil to work its way down, and then I'll add a bit more soil on top and wipe it off. I will not push it down like really firmly. I won't pack it in there, okay, because that's just going to make it hard for the little seedlings, to get their roots, to move around and penetrate the soil and, do what it needs to do. So that's what I do for me, okay? So once I get my seed starter trays filled, I use my little tool. You can use a plastic knife, a butter knife, whatever you have available, your finger, I don't care. I move about 1/4 inch of soil back, like I kind of peel it back, and then I sprinkle in about 6 to 8 seeds per cell. This may seem like a lot to you guys. It is. Maybe. No, it's not. It's not. Not for me, okay? But I sprinkle in about 6 to 8 seeds per cell. And once these seedlings sprout, they will actually stay in here for about 3 to 4 weeks. Usually I will up pot my seedlings. I'm still debating if I want to do that again this year, but usually I do up pot them. But I won't be up potting them in their own cups this year. I will actually be separating them and putting them in their own cells, like this tray this year. So they are grown as plugs instead of them being in the little 3-ounce bath cups, okay? So 6 to 8 seeds for me, and that's because I have a really large garden. But if you don't have such a large space, do 2 seeds, do 3 seeds, 4 seeds, depending on your space. Another thing, I know you will read the back of the packet, and it will say to space your plants 12 to 24 inches apart. Please remember that spacing requirement are for farmers, are for tractors, for their wheels and equipment to be able to drive between the plants most of the time. Now, in reality, most gardeners, even though I have a lot of space, I'm not spacing anything 24 inches apart. Excuse me. I'm not spacing anything 24 inches apart. I do square foot gardening, meaning each square foot gets one brassica plant, one kale plant, one cabbage plant, one Brussels sprout. That's what square foot gardening is. It depends on the variety of plant that you are planting in that square foot. Just a really quick, explanation. Square foot gardening, I could put six lettuce plants in 1 square foot. when I do square foot gardening. Okay. But if you read the seed packet, it will tell you to space that lettuce plant 18 inches apart. That's just not possible. Not for regular people with, backyard. You're going to have 4 plants. Okay. So square foot gardening makes it possible for you to put a lot in a small space. Okay. So if you guys want to learn about that, or you want me to explain that in better detail in my next video, or show you what I mean or whatever, I have a couple of videos on IG. I can take them down, edit them, put them up here so I can explain to you what I mean. Okay. But square foot gardening, you're able to put 1 brassica plant, 1 pepper plant, 1 tomato plant. But then if it's a smaller plant like a lettuce, you could put 4 to 6. If it's carrots, you could put up to 20 carrots. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Okay. All right. Anyways, back to the brassica seed starting. Once I have my trays filled with soil, the soil is in there. It's completely full, but it is not packed in. You don't want the soil to be compacted. You want it to be nice and somewhat loose, but filled. That's all you need. You want it to be filled. And what I do is I pull back about a 1/4 inch of soil. I put in my 6 to 8 seeds in there, and put the soil back on, label it, and then I bottom water. Another important thing, if I already didn't mention this, because I actually did this voiceover 7 times, by the way, life of mom of 4 with a 3-year-old. All right, so the soil, your seed starter mix should always be pre-moistened before you add any seeds in it. Do not try to put dry soil in your trays and put seeds in there and try to water it, because what's going to happen is the dry soil would act almost like it's like water repellent, like the water won't mix with it right away. So when you get your seed starter mix, get some really, really hot water, as hot as your faucet can produce, and put it in, put the water in the bag and pre-moisten your soil. This will help kill off any larva that's in there from fungus gnats, any fungus gnats that could be hidden in there, and your soil will also be pre-moistened. You wait for the soil to come down to room temperature, and then you could fill your trays. If you don't want to do it in the bag, you could put it in a bucket and boil water. This will 100% guaranteed, if there's any fungus gnats, larva, anything in that soil that may cause problems when your plants start to sprout, they will be done. Okay, so just a tip. All right, so like I said, I put my little seeds in there, and because I have a large garden, I do grow a lot of things, and I do have a couple of my friends that I have convinced to garden, and they became my garden students, and a bunch of them are doing really great. And every year when I start seeds, I not only start seeds for myself, I start seeds for other gardeners as well. Not because they ask me, but just because. And I also barter and share starter plants with some of my garden friends on Instagram. I really don't want you to feel intimidated by starting seeds or starting a garden or trying to do this. It's really not as hard as people make it seem. It's very simple. Pre-moistened soil, light, moisture, and some warmth. Brassica seeds start to germinate at around 50 degrees, 65 degrees. I don't even put them on a heat mat. I don't. Sometimes when I start them, I'll put them in a tray and just put them in a corner with no light, actually, and just wait a whole day. Look at them, and then I'll start seeing them break surface. Once they break surface, I rush and put them under the light. Even though my soil is pre-moistened, I do add 1 inch of water in the bottom tray, and then I put my seeds, the cells, back in the tray with the dome closed for the first few days. This will help build up humidity in there and trap the moisture in there. This just gives it a better environment for the seedlings to sprout. Okay, it kind of imitates like when it's raining and it's kind of moist outside and the temperatures are just right. That's the type of environment the domes create. So day 2, I checked in the morning to see if I had any growth. And yes, you can check on day 2, because my loft where I keep my plants is very warm. It's about 75 to 80 degrees. And I already saw some little seeds sprouting and trying to break surface. I was like, okay, that's pretty good. Excuse my dry frigging hands, you guys. I'm a mom. I wash dishes. I'm cooking, cleaning, dealing with animals, dogs, cats, children. Okay, and then I'm constantly washing my hands, and I'm not gonna go put moisturizer on my hands to plant some seeds. That's just not comfortable. Okay, so yeah, day 2 in the morning, the seeds started to break surface. So I had some errands to run and things to do with my kids. And, I came back later in the day. I just looked I put the camera under the tray because I wanted to make sure you saw there was no heat mat there. And this is just about maybe 6 or 8 hours later from the morning. This is the difference of the seeds sprouting. So you can rewind if you want to. You could see the difference from the morning to 6 to 8 hours later, and they broke surface. And at this point, even though they haven't all sprouted, I will lower my lights to be about 4 inches above the seedlings. Okay, I don't want them reaching. I don't want them stretching. I want them to focus their energy on growing true leaves so that they become healthy little starts. Okay, when the time comes for me to up pot them, I won't be putting them in pots. I will actually be putting them in their own cells so that I will be growing them as plugs. Okay, plugs is the little cell. You just call them plugs because you plug it in the hole. You get it? Okay. All right, so they pretty much will be taken out of trays like this and then put back one at a time in trays like this. So one seedling per cell. And I do have enough of these trays to do that. Last year I used bath cups and it was good. It was pretty good to use that, but it just took up too much space. Okay, with the little trays, I'm able to put a lot in a small amount of space. The little bath cups just take up too much space for me. All right. So now, like I said, the seedlings are sprouting. I will lower my lights. These are shop lights. I will try to find the link to these lights and list them down below for you. I will add my trays that I use down below for you. And I will add my cocoa core that I use down below for you guys. All the links will be there. Available if you want to look at them. And then I turn my tray so that the whole thing gets light so that the seedlings aren't, trying too hard to reach a light source to get energy. And I keep my lights on. When a new seed sprouts, I usually keep my lights on for the first 7 days until the true leaves start to develop. I'll keep them on for 24 hours. And then after that, 14 to 16 hours. So I'll put them on in the morning when I wake up and take them off at night when I go to bed. Okay, but here are some harvests from last year with some of the beautiful purple cauliflower that I grew and some beautiful cabbages that I grew. Okay, but yeah, I will be doing an update in about a week or so, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.
It wants a snack on my freaking get away.